guys, welcome back. Have another Valentine's Day craft for you guys today. So we're going to be making a heart-shaped candy box. And this way you can fill this with a variety of your Valentine's favorite chocolates, candies, cookies, whatever, instead of having to go with that same box of chocolate that you see on the shelves every year. So you can definitely get a lot more personal and customized with this one. But let's go ahead and get started. Make sure to grab that free SVG file from my blog at svgnation.com, and you are going to find a link in the video description that's going to take you directly there, as well as links to the supplies that I'm using in case you want to check any of those out. So once you have that uploaded, go ahead and add that to your canvas. And I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see everything on my screen. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and ungroup all your layers. So there's a few modifications that we need to make before you start cutting, so make sure to pay attention. Okay, so first right here where you see Be Mine Valentine, go ahead and click on that box. And I'm just going to click right here in this layer where you see the text. So I'm actually using my Cricut pens for this part. So you want to go to your operation right here and you want to change that to pen. If you don't have any Cricut pens, then you can just delete this. You can write on it yourself. But watching the Cricut write is super cool. So if you got your pens, then go ahead and use it. And once you change that, you need to click right here above it because you do need to attach it to the layer it's going to write on. So we're just going to go ahead and click attach. And if you want to make that say something else, you can always delete that layer and write whatever you want. Just make sure after you write what you want that you've got it changed to pen and that you go ahead and attach it. And then on these 4 side pieces that you see, these all have score lines on them. If you see these lines here, just click right here, change that operation right here to score. And then if you click right above it, you can just attach that to the layer that it's going to score on. And we're going to repeat these steps for all 4 of these. And if you don't have a scoring tool, then you can easily fold this by hand, so it's not a big deal. But you do want to delete these lines. Otherwise, they're just going to create another page with the random cut lines on it, and you don't really want that. Okay, so we got one more, so we're just clicking just on the line, changing that operation to score, and then clicking right above it so that it's grouped with the layer it's going to score on, and we're attaching it. Okay, so everything's ready to go. Oh, but there is one thing I want to show you because it's so close to Valentine's Day. If you don't have any of this clear plastic, you may not have time to order it, or maybe you don't want the little see-through option. So I'm going to show you how you can do this without the see-through option. So if you just click right here, we do need to detach this real quick where we attach the text. But if you just click just on this layer, just the heart layer, and you go to contour, if you click that right there, that's going to remove that, and so it's going to cut as a solid piece. So that way you don't have to worry about having the cutout. I really like the little peekaboo inside, but I'm getting this up kind of late, so you may not have time to order that if you don't have it on hand. And you can do the same thing for this piece right here that's going to go inside. You can just click on contour and just click on that to make it solid. But I definitely want the little peek through, so I'm going to undo that back to where these are attached together. Okay, so everything's ready to go. So let's go ahead and cut everything out. And make sure if you're using a scoring tool or using the pens that you follow these prompts on your Cricut so you know when to add them and switch everything out. And once we cut everything out, I'll show you how to assemble everything. So once everything is cut out, I recommend starting with the bow. That way you don't lose all these little pieces. And I definitely recommend lining everything up first before you glue it down, because you don't want to add glue to the wrong side by accident. So you just kind of have these 2 pieces which are going on this bow side here, and you are leaving like a little border around it as you glue them down. So when you're done, it should look, you know, pretty similar to this. You just have a little bit of the edge around the pieces. And then you can go ahead and attach this. So you're attaching this to the front where it says the Be Mine Valentine. Now, if you didn't write on your box, then it's going to look a lot like this piece. So to know which one is the front, you want to measure them, and it's going to be slightly larger. There's not a big difference, but one of them is slightly larger, and that's the one that's going to be the front. And it should be the one with the text if you use the text. So we're just going to glue this down. So part of this this kind of lines up here and part of it hangs off, so I'm gonna leave glue kind of off that side of it. I'm just gonna glue that down. And you can use your brayer tool to kind of help flatten all of this out. And then I'm gonna set this aside for a minute. And so you have 4 pieces that look almost the same, but 2 of them are like 2 and 2 are the same. So 2 of them are slightly smaller than the other ones. So let's go ahead and measure these up. So see, one is definitely taller than the other one. This one looks like it goes with this one, and then these ones. So whichever ones are taller, you want to go ahead and put the taller ones aside. We're saving those for later, and we're just going to work with these ones right now. So first thing is you want to go ahead and glue these on top of each other. You want them facing the same way. So I have this little extra piece here and then this extra piece here. And I'm just going to glue right here on this extra piece. And I'm just lining that up right there with that score line. But if you don't have that score line, if you didn't use a scoring tool, then you're just lining them up. You do want to make sure that you can still fold on that score line. So as you glue it down, you know, make sure you didn't overlap it. I'm going to just flip that down and press that on really well. And then decide which side you want to be the outside. It really doesn't matter. And go ahead and glue on your decorative pieces if you're using those. And when gluing this on, keep in mind, right now we're making the lid. So the way this is going to face is it's going to go down this way because it's a lid for our box. So I'm going to want to glue this on this way so that the hearts are facing up. So if your paper is, you know, specific, kind of think about which way it needs to go before gluing it down. I'm just lining this up. Oops, centering it the best that I can. Kind of lifted that up a little bit. I'm really glad that I have a glue that dries clear. We can still kind of wipe that off. And then you can just kind of press that down really well with your brayer. And I'm going to add this to the other side. I'm just kind of centering this here the same way I did on the other side. Trying not to make a mess on this side though. Alright, next you want to flip this over and go ahead and go through all of these tabs right here and fold them in. So you're folding them in towards the inside. So you want that decoration facing like your work surface while you're doing this. Okay, and then next, go ahead and take your front cover, so it's the one that you just glued the bow to, and you're gonna flip this over. And so you're gonna start right here where you see where that score line is or where you glued them together. And you're gonna start right here with these two, one of them's on each side of that. So go ahead and add a little bit of glue to each side. And we're gonna start right here from the tip, so we're folding this way actually. And you can get a really good crease on it. And you're gonna glue those right there at the point. And you really wanna slide those up to the very edge of that heart. But you wanna make sure that you're also keeping that point. So you may need to turn it, I'm gonna face it towards me so I can see for a second. So all I did is I just lined those right up, but I'm making sure to keep that point. And as you see, we're gonna continue to glue these all the way around to make that heart shape. So just kind of make sure those are kind of in place first before you continue gluing down. You don't want those sliding. And then I'm just gonna work one side at a time. So I'll start with this side. And I'm just gonna do like 3 at a time. You don't wanna do too many. So I usually do about 3 at a time, and you're just kind of pressing those down into place. And then just kind of hold them there, give them a second to dry. And remember, these hearts should be upside down because this is our lid, so it's going to turn the other way. And you can use hot glue for this, but it's just going to dry really fast, so you're not going to be able to have a lot of flexibility with sliding them around. So, but if you want it to dry quicker so you don't have to hold it down so much, you can do that. You just got to be really quick and probably just do one piece at a time. I prefer using a craft glue so I can kind of still slide it around after I've set it down if needed. So I kind of set it down and then just kind of wiggle it into place because you are lining this up the best you can with the outside. Alright, so I've worked my way around here, but I'm going to leave these two undone. I'm going to do these together when I close it in. That way I can make sure that they line up good. Because if you kind of didn't line this up perfectly, it might not be perfect, but you can kind of move these ones around to give you that nice finish at the end. So that's kind of why I'm going to wait on doing those ones. And I'm just going to work my way around this side now until I get to those last two on this side. Alright, so I just have the two at the bottom on each side left, but before I glue those down, I'm going to glue the point together. That way I can make sure the point is glued where it's supposed to be. So on this little tab line right here where that score line is, go ahead and fold in on that. And after you fold in, go ahead and add glue and attach that to the other side. And go ahead and hold that down for a few minutes if you're using like a regular glue like me, or not really a few minutes, but about 30 seconds to make sure it really takes hold. Once it's had a chance to set, I'm going to go ahead and do these two tab pieces here so I can get them at that point. Then I'm going to go in and lift up these sides and attach these down as well. And you don't have to do it in the same order as me. You know, if you just want to go all the way around and not connect it the way I did, but I just feel like that helps to get that point at the bottom the most. It's still off slightly, but it's not that bad. Alright, so once you have all of those pressed down, we are going to add our little clear window. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to add glue around all of this. And if you took this part out, then obviously you're going to skip this step. And when cutting this plastic, I use a deep point blade. That really does help. And then you also want to use that plastic transparency setting and add more for the pressure. If that doesn't work, if you only have like a regular blade, then I would use that poster setting, and it should give a deep enough cut that you can at least pop this out if it doesn't cut all the way through. But a deep point blade is definitely going to give you the best cut for this. I'm just going to press that down, and then don't worry, we're going to hide this. That's what this heart is for. So we're going to just add glue on top of this. Of course, you want to leave glue out of that center part. I'm just going to bring glue through here to cover all of this up. And this is symmetrical, so it really doesn't matter which way it goes. You're just going to press that down in there to give it like that nice, clean, finished look. Alright, so now our lid's done. We can set this aside to dry while we assemble the rest of it. Alright, so we have these two pieces, and we're going to do the same thing with these, only we're not adding that decorative piece. So we're going to line those up and glue those together. And basically for the bottom, we are repeating the same steps. So we're just gluing these together. Again, you want to make sure that you can still fold on that score line. So don't go over the score line, just line it right up. Alright, so we're just going to line these up because one of these is slightly smaller than the other. If you line it up at the point, it's easier to tell. So go ahead and take the one that's smaller and put that aside. You want to work with the larger one. And we are repeating all the same steps. No. Yeah. And then make sure that you fold all of these little tab pieces in just like we did before. Attach these just like we did before. So we'll start with our fold right here in the middle, and we're going to add glue to these first two. And just get those started. And then as those get attached, go ahead and work your way around the rest of the box just like we did for the lid. Alright, so once you get all of those tab pieces glued down, go ahead and add glue to this middle, because we're going to cover those up as well and make it have like a nice pretty finish. And you can just slide this heart in there, and again this heart is symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which side you put it down on. Just kind of make sure you get it smooth down around the edges. And that's all there is to this. You can fill it with cookies, candy, treats, even gifts, whatever you want to put in here. And once you do that, just go ahead and add the lid on. I love the little window because you can, get a little peek at what's inside, but you can easily leave that off, like I showed you in Cricut Design Space how to take that off. But this is a super cute box. I just love the little trim around the edges, the bow on the front. And it's a pretty decent size. I think it's about 7 inches wide. So you can fill it with a whole lot of goodies. And it's pretty easy to put on and off the lid, but yet it still stays really well to where it's not going to come off when you jiggle it. Maybe if you had some really, really heavy things in there, it might, but it shouldn't. But if you guys have any questions on how to make this, y'all leave those in the comments and I will answer them there. And I'd love to hear your guys' recommendations on things that you might want to see in the future. And also leave me a hi or something to let me know you're here. I love seeing who's here. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. But thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.